So we're busting out a new whiteboard. To make the topic simple, why are you not achieving anything? I don't know. But you know, most likely, why you're not achieving anything. But another thing that I wanted to mention is what is your version of success? Everyone's idea of being successful is very different. I found that through experience. I've trained with hundreds of people at this point. I've worked with different types of businesses. I've worked for different types of businesses. And I found out one thing in particular about all of these things, as if they're linked together, is that there's different values to having success. So what's one of those things? Growth. All right? Growth is definitely one of them. And the idea of growth is basically getting to a point where you're able to do more in your business. May that be you're able to go more places, you're able to make more money, you're able to have more partnerships. Whatever that looks like for your business, one portion of growth is being able to do more. And if you want your business to be more than what it is, and you should, because it's not just going to grow on its own, and if your business doesn't grow, it's probably not going to do very well, then you have to do what's uncomfortable. Like, you have to be uncomfortable to get anywhere in business. So what am I really thinking when it comes to that? And what's an example of how my business grew through being uncomfortable? So Smooth Apparel was nothing at one point. It was just like a drawing on a piece of paper of the word smooth and what did it stand for. It stood for something to me, but it was nothing to anyone else. And to a large population of the world, it's still nothing because they don't know about it yet. So I realized very fast, and from watching different mentors like Alex Hormozi or Andy Elliott, Myron Golden, I had to find a way to get people to find out about what I had. That was the only way for growth to happen, right? Because if no one knows about what you're making, then no one can buy, then no one can invest, no one can use it if it's good. I mean, no one will use it if it's not good, to be honest. But that's where I beg to differ, because there is people that use products that aren't good. So, back to the topic of growth, okay? Being able to understand what growth means is going to take time. How much time do you have, okay? So, the idea of time. This is a limited resource, okay? We have limited time to get to goals. And why do we have limited time to get to our goals? This might not make sense to a lot of people, and you might have even heard from different mentors that yes, you have all the time in the world, and yes, you're able to stumble and get back up again, that's fine. But what am I really trying to get at when I say that we have limited time to get to our goals? There's certain doors that will open. There's opportunities that you're going to find yourself across, right? So whenever I did a pop-up shop or something for my clothing brand, or I wanted to tell somebody that I had a new drop or that I had something that I wanted them to wear, not just because I wanted them to wear it, but because I knew that it's worth them having, right? I knew that my product that I designed was worth them having, so I didn't want to waste any time telling them about the goal. And the time is limited because somebody will walk past and you have only a matter of seconds to tell them that you have this thing, this product, this service, And that's when they'll be able to figure out, hey, am I going to use it? Am I going to care about it? Do I care about this person that's talking to me? Any of those things in a matter of seconds. Yes, you can reach out later on, of course. But if you want something to happen now, and that is what I'm trying to get at, is if you have a sense of urgency, okay? So, let me not even. If you have a sense of urgency, then that is when you will realize that you have limited time to get to your goals. Because you want these things to happen now so that you can already deal with what it's like to go through the hard part, right? There's levels to the system, okay? If you realize that you have limited time, okay, then you'll know that every level that you step into is going to gradually take you through a different block, okay? So, say you're climbing the ladder to the top of your business, whatever you think that top portion of the business would be. And you have to start somewhere with whatever it is that you do until you get to that star potential. You have to start. You have to start. If you don't start, there's no beginning step to the business. You can't skip steps, because why? The amount of leverage that you're going to have has to be built with a foundation. Building a tower from the ground up, okay, is going to take blocks all the way up to get to where you want to be. Imagine just removing one of these blocks, okay, or skipping one. Then you could fall any which way, right? And if we want to build something that lasts, build something that can grow, build something that can go forward, we're not going to sit there and skip steps, and we're not going to be someone who isn't willing to forge something any chance that they get. But that's the mindset that I'm trying to distill, because I know that you watching this video, you take your business very serious. You don't want to be somebody that just wants to talk about what they want to do. You actually want to build it. So building your business is going to take you realizing that you have limited time, that you have limited time to get to your goals, and that you have to start. You have to start to take the steps to get to the top, and you can't skip any blocks when building the tower of your business, okay? If I was to skip going through the process of creating samples, then I would never know what my standard is of making clothes. If I was to skip the standard of speaking to someone rather than keeping my head down and walking by, then I wouldn't have made as many connections. I've met thousands of people in the past months versus the prior years where I would have met 10 new people within a month's time, maybe, if that, right? I went from meeting 10 people to meeting thousands of people. I went from making hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars every month. So there's a strict correlation between how many people do you meet, how many correlations can you put together between what you have to offer and how many people need that thing from you, how many people can you help to get them where they want to be, and how many times can you do something and get paid for it. These ideas will go over a lot of people's head, right? And I don't want that to happen for you guys, because every time you step into the newest version of yourself, you're going to wonder why am I still putting up with the same thing? And that's the next topic that I want to get into, right? Your standards have to change. Let me erase this. I wish I had a bigger eraser. Next video, we're getting a bigger eraser. This is ridiculous. So your standards must change as you grow. And why am I saying that? Right? It's pretty obvious, actually, but why am I saying that your standards need to grow? Why do they need to change and grow? The word of the day is grow. Standards. Okay? So, having standards, what does that mean? Okay? This is what you believe, okay, to be optimal for your success. Okay? What do you believe to be optimal for your success, what your business's success, in compass to your life? Okay? The standards you set are going to build your life. If you don't sit down with yourself and really align everything that you've done so far with standards to build your life, what will your standards say and what will your life look like? If I have standards that are very low, like I don't need to wake up early, like I don't have things to do, like it doesn't matter how my day goes, then it won't matter, and it won't matter how my life goes. They're very strictly correlated. And it will matter how your life goes because you'll be very upset that you didn't set the standards to live the life that you want to live. A lot of people want a certain life, but they don't set the standards of someone who will live that life. So sit down and write this down if you can. I hope you guys are taking notes. What are my standards? What kind of person am I? When do I need to wake up? Where do I need to go in the morning? How many things am I supposed to get done today? Who am I supposed to talk to? How many people am I supposed to talk to? Is there anything in my business that I'm underlying not studying today that I'm not good at? Is there someone I know that's good at that, and did I contact them today? Are you being intentional with what you're doing? Right? If you set these as standards of what you're doing on a daily basis, I promise if you do that for just 30 days, every day, realizing that I need to count my standards so they can set my life, you will change your life. But every time that you wake up and you realize, yeah, it's hard, okay, I woke up at 10 o'clock because I didn't set an alarm, because I'm not worried about where I need to go today. I know that I need to get to work, but I'm just going to get there when I get there. Then your life is going to get there when it gets there, and you're not going to know. And you're not going to know how to fight with everything that hits you, because life is very randomized. And it doesn't give you time. And it doesn't give you any type of leeway. It's very straightforward to the point. So as soon as you realize that you need to get ready so you don't have to get ready, then all these things are going to fall in line. But if you don't set any standards, then your life will not be set. So we can move your life into importance. Okay? The idea of peace and happiness, yes. This is something that we all strive to have. But how can you have peace and happiness if you don't have standards? Right? Okay. So we can say peace here. Because your life is supposed to get to a point where you can have peace. And if you have standards, you can have your life and you can have peace in your life. I know that every time that I put something together so far in my brand, I knew that what I was doing had to be at a high standard. Why? Because I would never give someone something else that I wouldn't wear, or that I wouldn't treat someone else a way that I wouldn't want to be treated. It's expecting someone to go through something that you wouldn't go through. Why? If you had a hot pepper, bro, that you wouldn't even eat, why would you give that to somebody else knowing that they might ask you to eat it along with them? What? Because it's funny? You know what's not funny? Not having your life together. You know what's not funny? Having no standards for the way that you live your life, so that one day when you look up, everything is just how it is and you have no control. And how could you have no control of your life? If you don't have any control of your life, there's no way you can build it and shape it how you want it to be or have peace. If I was to put anything together for a last idea, what is your definition of peace? To be at peace. Some people say that peace is having nothing. to worry about. Others say that peace is being so locked into what you're doing that you have nothing else to think about and you're so focused on the task at hand. And in a way, I can agree, because I've been focused on things before and it felt peaceful to have no other distractions and I'm just focused. But if we're looking at a longevity term of peace, do you want to work super hard forever? Realistically, yes. Like men and women in their 20s or just beginning the stages of what adult life looks like. Yes, you're going to have to work extremely hard, of course. And it's going to happen for quite a long time, decades on time. And I'm starting to realize that as I get into my 20s, right? But thinking about working this hard forever is something that I knew wasn't something that I want to do. So why would I let anything slide right now? There's nothing. There's no reason for me to let things slide right now and not have any standards. Means that I'm not worried about having to work this hard forever. And what happens when you work this hard forever? Your body is being challenged. So you can't uphold that. You're going to be able to do this type of movement and this type of hustle for only so long. And then your body's going to shut down on you because it's not meant to work this hard forever. That's not how it's supposed to work. Okay? You don't want to work this hard forever. And working this hard forever shuts doors. Okay? It shuts doors for the ones that you should open for yourself. Opening a door for yourself. Okay? Into self-care, into relationships, into fun. All of these things are a matter of the idea that we have limited time. How much can you show yourself that you care about yourself? How much can you show yourself that your family means enough? How well are you at setting your standards? How well are you at realizing that you have the power of discernment? The sooner you realize that, the sooner you can take control of your life. Okay? So, if you guys were to take anything from this video, we talked about how we have limited time to reach our goals. It's because the faster you get into something, the faster you can fail, the faster you can actually learn, or you can watch someone else fail and learn from them. But then again, you'd have to start to do that, to build. Okay? So, closing yourself off from starting is only going to keep you from being qualified to make it all happen. Right? Right now, in this time, if you failed already, you're more qualified than you were the times that you didn't fail anything. Because yeah, you saw it worked, but you were only in the period of stabilizing railroad. You weren't able to build any new paths yet. The more paths you have to greatness, then there's less chance that you could fail. It's inevitable, right? The more prepared you are, the more chance of an outcome in your favor. It would almost be to the point where you'd have to make it so unlikely that you fail, because how many things you prepared to be prepared for, and you'd have to make it all count. But the idea of you doing it now instead of doing it later means that you can do all the stuff that sucks now so that your later is better than it is now. And that's growth. Thank you guys for watching this video. The idea of putting these videos together is not for me to look for reasons to make winning like the only thing that changes someone's life. Because obviously learning is a big part as well, but a lot of people don't think that they deserve to win for some reason. And that's what's shown by their actions and their lack of standards. So putting videos together like this, it really shows people that, hey, you do deserve to win. And also, if you put the effort into auditing your life and looking at the things around you, that you haven't been doing what you need to do to win. So I would suggest you start today. We'll see you guys in the next one.